What's up, friend? Hector here from StrongestHec.com with this week's Movement Monday for the week. Today we're going to be opening up a whole new movement series. We're going to be really focusing on the hips. So hips are pretty important. It's our center of mass, our center of gravity. This is where we produce all of our power. This is where we can produce a lot of torque, is through the hips. And if we have hip restriction because we sit for long periods throughout the day, as soon as the hips begin to shut down, a lot of other things start to go south, like shoulders, posture, upper back, all that kind of starts to go south. So we've already kind of addressed wrist, elbows, shoulders a lot with like the crab series and some of the other episodes in the Movement Monday series. But today we're going to be focusing on the hips. And if you train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, hips, you kind of live and die by the hips, right? The power of your hips, the mobility of your hips is crucial to be able to get out of bad positions and to actually be able to maintain a dominant position, okay? But for overall health, we need to make sure that your hips move pretty well, especially when it comes to lifting kettlebells. If you're going to be squatting, doing swings, doing deadlifts, hips are a big part of that equation, right? So I'm going to take you through a little sequence that I like to do. This is kind of specific to Jiu-Jitsu, but it's really going to help to open up your hips. So because we sit a lot, we can start to lack internal and external rotation of the femur, which is the thigh bone. Okay, so internal rotation is basically bringing the knee inside. External rotation is basically bringing the knee outside. Okay, so there's a couple of positions in Jiu-Jitsu where we're kind of in both positions at the same time, and we're going to break that down today. I don't even know what this move is called. I just know that we do it a lot in Jiu-Jitsu. And when I sit for quite a long period of time, my hips feel really tight, and I can feel it when I get on the mat. And after like a round or so, then my hips begin to open back up and loosen up. So one of the I guess most common things you see people do now is posterior rocking. That's a great exercise. It's probably entry level one, is to rock back and forth. So I'm not going to go a whole lot into that right now, because you can find that a lot on probably other videos that we've done or just in social media in general. But posterior rocking is a great starting point to start to open up the hips. And we're going to cover one variation of that in a later video. But today we're going to focus on that internal and external rotation part. So we're basically going to be sitting on our hips. We're going to have one leg internally rotated like this, and the other leg is going to be externally rotated here. Okay? And eventually where we're going to get to is we're going to get to where you're not really using your hands, and you're going to switch by bringing your leg around, switching sides, and then going to this side. And then you're going to switch, and you're going to come to this side. Okay? But you may not be able to do that right away, so we're going to break down a couple of different variations. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on our hands and knees, just like so. And then what we're going to do is you're going to windshield wiper your feet. So let me turn around. Sorry, but I'm going to show you my butt. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to move our feet like this windshield wiper position. Okay, so we're going to go from all fours just like so, and then you're going to turn your feet this way and basically sit down. Then you're going to come back up, switch your feet to the other side, and then basically sit down on that side. Make sense? So do about 5 to 10 of these per side. Okay, hands under your shoulder. So if you want to, you can throw in a few posterior rocks because you're kind of already in this position. You're more than welcome to do that. Then you're going to tuck one foot in, okay, and you're going to tuck the other foot out, kind of like a frog, that frog position, and then basically sit on your sit bones. Okay, then you're going to come up, hands on the ground, shift your legs to the other side, and then you're going to sit here. Okay, this is going to have a huge impact on your jiu-jitsu game. And when I say your jiu-jitsu game, I'm not talking about your jiu-jitsu skill. I'm talking about your ability to move in jiu-jitsu, which is important. Sometimes it can be hard to recover guard or to keep someone from passing when your hips are really stiff because you can't move your legs as well. This is going to help you to reestablish that. If you're familiar with gymnastica natural, you'll see a lot of these. You'll see a lot of these movements. They go through a lot of these movements back and forth. Okay, so this is something that I do. Probably, I usually do this on my in-between days when I'm not lifting, like today. But I have this, it has a huge carryover to my jiu-jitsu, okay? So I'm going to show you, so we already went over variation 1, right? So now, excuse me, something in the air, I don't know what it is. So if you've been sitting for a long time, your hips are going to get stiff, okay? So if you want, you can open up with some posterior rocking. Then I like to go into this little hip drill, just like this. Okay, and then you switch your legs. Bang. Okay, and you can switch again. Now, if you can't do this just yet, you use your hands. Hand to the ground, here, put this hand to the ground. That way you're kind of almost like the crab position. It's like I planned this stuff. Almost like a crab position, okay? Then bring your legs over, switch, and bring your leg around. Okay? Just like this. So you're also getting some other cool benefits that you're getting here is you're doing what's called axial rolling. You're rolling along your tailbone. That's going to help increase coordination. My gosh, it's not that hot out in Texas yet, right? So it's going to help increase proprioception, awareness, body positioning, all that. So just kind of rolling along the axis of your sit bones. Okay, we do this a lot as kids. Kids move like this. Kids move like this a lot. The way they move is they roll across their sit bones. So you're getting a lot of that too. Okay, switching from side to side, just like this. Okay, boom. Once you get the hang of doing it like this, then you try not to use your hands. Okay, boom. You just move side to side. Okay. Pretty cool, right? Okay, now I'm going to show you a little ninja move. Okay, this is another hip drill that we do in jiu-jitsu. It's one of our warm-ups, one of our drills, and it's basically learning how to move those hips, opening up the hips without using your arms. Okay, so I may need to scoot over like this. Okay, so basically you're going to be in this position just like so. All right. And then you're going to come up just like this. See here? Drive through my legs, and then I come up. Okay? Up through my legs, come up. And now I'm going to switch up. I'm going to switch here, and then drop this hip to the ground. Bang. Okay? And then you can switch. Bang. Okay, and then you switch, and then you go again. Seems confusing, but that's why you're going to practice this, okay? So these are some of my favorite hip drills. And essentially what we do is we start at one end of the mat, and we do this drill just completely alternating all the way down. And it's going to start to open up the hips. So it allows you, so in jiu-jitsu, you need to get really good at being able to come up without using your hands. And that's kind of where this series is eventually going to take us, to getting to a standing or some kind of kneeling position. Because one of the greatest fears as we get older is falling, right? Falling and then not being able to get back up. But sometimes, not just so much not being able to get back up, but also not knowing how to get back up. So this is going to kind of carry into a little bit of that too. But in terms of jiu-jitsu, or even just a self-defense situation, is sometimes you have to be able to get up without using your hands. So in jiu-jitsu, as you're grappling and you're using your hands, you need to be able to move your legs independent without having to worry about pushing and coming up. So being able to move your hips, rising up, switching sides, coming up, taking somebody down. Like, you need to be able to move your hips just like so, okay? So it's gonna have a big carryover to your squats, your deadlifts, and also just health and overall well-being. So give that little hip drill movement sequence a try. Let me recap it for you really quick before I close this episode out. Start on your hands and knees. This may be the most challenging part for you, is being able to just turn your feet and sit. Okay, you may be hiked all the way over like this because this hip is so tight, it's hard for you to sit up straight. So your hips may be so tight here that you're kind of stuck here. If that's where you're at, that's fine. Just use this hand for support, and then come up, and then you're going to switch to the other side, and then you're going to sit again. Okay, as you get the hang of that, you use your hands. And you work on rocking side to side, switching your legs. You see how I use my hands for balance. Okay? Then once you get the hang of that, you begin to not use your hands. And you begin to rock back and forth like this. You can bring your legs in front like this, or like this. Okay? Another way to do this, let me turn this way, is you can just switch your legs. Hands on the ground, like this, and you just switch your legs. See? This is another way to do it. Bang, bang, without having to move your feet, right? You don't have to move your feet at all. Okay? And then you can progress back to doing this. Cool? Side to side. Bang. That's going to open up our hip series. We're going to do this for the next couple of weeks, and we're going to show you how to progress, really work that groin. We're going to be working the outside of the hips. We're going to be doing all that over the next few weeks, and eventually progressing you to some kind of standing or lunging or even standing position. So give that a try. Let me know how it goes. Leave a comment below. If you're liking the videos, as always, be sure to subscribe. Check out my other videos that I have on this channel. And that's all I got. Hector@strongestHec.com with this week's Movement Monday for the week.